There are so many different types of paste out there for mixed media. Is there a right one? Is there a wrong one? What's up with all the brands? So many questions, and I've got answers. Let's get into it. Today's Mixed Media Monday, we're diving into the world of texture paste and seeing how they are going to react with sprays, specifically distress sprays. Whether you're working on an elaborate mixed media project or adding a touch of texture to a card, choosing the right paste can make a big difference. Now, I know it would be super fun to test every single paste on the market, but let's be real, that's a bit excessive and wasteful since I probably wouldn't use them all. Now, keep in mind that sprays are going to react similarly to magicals and watercolors. So if that's your go-to, this test will still be helpful. I do want to encourage you to grab whatever paste and mediums you have in your own craft stash, follow along and see how they work together. If you're following along, here are the supplies you'll need. Be sure to use materials that you typically reach for when working with these techniques. For example, if you're using sprays, avoid copy paper or thin cardstock since they won't give you an accurate sense of how the paste and sprays will react. Using the right supplies ensures you'll see the true results of each product and technique. You're going to need paper. I'm going to be using Distress Mixed Media Heavy Stock. Now, it's not my favorite for sprays, but it does give me an accurate representation of how the sprays and paste work together. I'm going to be putting these in my technique binder so that I can save them for future reference. You're also going to need texture paste. I'm going to be listing the ones I'm using shortly. A stencil of your choice. I do recommend getting a stencil with a little more open space. A palette knife or spatula. Your choice of sprays or watercolors. I'm using Weathered Wood, Stormy Sky, Pumice Stone, and Speckled Egg Oxide. You're going to need some water, specifically in a spray bottle. I'm going to be using an Altenew grip mat. This is optional, but it's great for holding the paper and stencils in place. I do recommend writing on the back or the front of the paper you are choosing to use what paste you're going to use and what medium you're using. This is very important so that you can refer back to them later on and you're not questioning what paste did I use, what paper is this, what medium did I use. That way it's all right there and it'll be a quick guide for you so that you can use it later. Now, I'm not going to bore you with showing you how I do every single one step by step, but you are going to need to start by scraping each paste through a stencil, applying a thin, even layer. I'm also going to be scraping a bit of each paste onto the side of the paper so I can see how it looks without the stencil pattern. This is going to help visualize how the paste absorbs and interacts with the sprays. Here are the pastes I'm testing today. The first one is going to be Golden Fiber Paste. This is an opaque medium that dries to fibrous texture. This is my first time using it. It does contain some paper fibers, which should help the sprays soak in beautifully. The next one is Opaque Distress Crackle Paste. You're going to want to apply this in thin layers. It just crackles better that way. The next one is going to be Prima Modeling Paste. Now, I find this to be a hybrid between texture paste and matte gel medium. It reacts so unique to sprays. Although I do not know the actual chemical makeup of it, that's the best description that I can give. The next one is going to be Opaque Distress Texture Paste. This is a classic choice and it's very well known in the crafting community. This next one is Prima Light Paste. This is very light, airy, and fluffy, similar to Cloud Paste or Fluffy Paste from other brands. The next one is going to be Distress Grit Paste. This is thick, gritty, and has a lot of texture with some tooth to it. Now you're going to need to set all of these panels aside to dry. Once all the pastes are dry on your paper, you can either work separately on each panel with the sprays, or I'm going to actually place them all in the center of my workspace and just start spraying. Again, the colors I'm using are Pumice Stone, Weathered Wood, Stormy Sky, and then at the end I use a little bit of Speckled Egg Oxide. I'm going to add a little bit of water just to help them move around and mix together. I am treating these test panels as if I were actually creating a full project because I really want to make sure that I get the full demonstration on how these pastes are going to react to the sprays. I'm layering the sprays on top of each other, and again I'm adding a little bit of water, drying in between layers, and adjusting as I need. As I continue to build up my backgrounds with the sprays, I wanted to share a free PDF download that I created. You'll find the link in the description box down below. In this PDF, you'll see close-up photos of each panel along with what paste I used so you can get a better look at the textures and effects. After they are fully dry, I am going to spritz with a little bit of water. I want to see how they are going to react as I pick up some of that water with the color. Some of them do really well, some of them doesn't even phase it. I do suggest using colors that actually inspire you because it's going to help you decide if you genuinely like this effect or not. I'm going to use my heat tool to dry all of these panels, and then I'm going to give you a close-up look at each and every single one of these. Each paste reacts differently, and I've got a few favorites and a couple that just aren't my thing. And again, there's something for everyone. Just because I like one thing doesn't mean that you have to like it. A couple of my favorites are going to be the fiber paste. The paper fibers help the sprays soak in beautifully, and it creates a rich, vibrant color, and it mimics how sprays react on paper, which I love. And I also love the Prima modeling paste. Again, this is kind of like a hybrid between texture paste and maybe like a matte gel or something. I don't know. It's so unique how these sprays react on top of it, and it's so distinct, and it definitely gives you a really cool look depending on how it's used and what you're looking for a project. A couple of my least favorites is going to be the Distress Grit Paste. For me, it absorbs way too much color and it just dulls the vibrancy. Just not what I'm looking for. And also the Distress Crackle Paste. This one actually really surprised me. When I saw it next to some of my favorites, I was like, oh yeah, I do not like this one. It definitely soaks too much into the paste and it mutes the color just like the grit paste. Now, I love the Crackle and I will probably use this for certain projects, but it's not going to be like my go-to for using paste for sprays. Now the neutral options are going to be the Prima Light Paste and the Distress Texture Paste. These I don't absolutely love. I'm not so crazy about them, but I don't hate them either. I will hopefully get to use them before they dry up. But the Prima Light Paste is really fluffy and it is definitely unique. And the Distress Texture Paste is probably what I'll use most often because it is a well-known brand in the crafting card making world. And it's a solid go-to that works well and maintains decent color vibrancy. So it is perfect for sprays. Now keep in mind that each paste has a unique chemical makeup affecting how it reacts with different sprays and mediums. Some contain binders, fibers, and you can even get some paste with beads and different things in it as well. So experimenting is key. If you try this experiment for yourself, I would love to see your results. Be sure to tag me on social media, and don't forget to download that free PDF. It's going to be linked below. It's going to include some close-up photos so you can see the textures and color reactions in detail. I do want to thank you so much for spending time with me today. If you're new here, I'd love for you to subscribe and join the community. My goal is to hit 100K by my 40th birthday in August. So let's try to make that happen. Now, if you found value in this video, please give it a thumbs up and let me know in the comments where you're from and what your favorite texture paste is to use. And as always, don't forget to stay creative, my friends.